Chair Kidwell. Lord, we thank you today for bringing us together once again. We're excited about a new semester, a new group of students, and new potential for so many people in our community. I ask that you give strength to our faculty and staff and administrators. I ask that you would give the board up here as we sit wisdom and understanding and knowledge to move forward in the right way for the needs of our students and the needs of our college. We thank you so much for this opportunity that's been given to us and for this wonderful institution that we all love and give passionately for and get behind. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I turn my mic on. We will start out with Dr. Williams, SPC Spotlights.
Welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is the second day. Some students call it still the first day for them of this semester, for those who are Tuesday, Thursday students. I want to applaud the SPC staff and faculty for preparing our students. We've delivered them to class in the best condition for learning. So I'm very proud of that work. Oh, thank you, Jackie. And so I have a lot to share. I'm going to try to go fast, okay? Well, first I want to let you guys know our Collegiate High School, the workforce STEM-based Collegiate High School, started last week. And it is wonderful to see the young faces at the downtown campus. It is a very diverse group of students, which I am very proud of, that we have a large number of minority students and students from all walks of life. And I'm so glad that the principal is ready to rock and roll. I don't think I walked the halls and have not seen her there. She's out there monitoring and making sure they're safe. So Dr. Carver, also hats off to you for the work you've done to accommodate our new students at downtown. This is our fourth year for Tarpon Springs Collegiate High School. I can't believe it's been 4 years. They're also an A-rated school. Very proud of that. And it's our 19th year for the St. Pete Gibbs Campus Collegiate High School, who's also an A-rated school. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm sure that our downtown campus is well on its way. SPC was nominated for Best of the Bay in 2022 for the Best College, which was pretty cool. For Best Museum Exhibit, the 20th anniversary of the Lipa Ratner Museum. Best Performing Arts Center, the Palladium. Best Stage Director, Scott Cooper. And Best Music School, our music industry and recording arts program. So hats off to all involved for being nominated Best of the Bay. College of Ed, a new NCTQ report came out, digging deeper. Which types of institutions achieve excellence in equity for aspiring teachers of color? St. Petersburg College was named one of the 89 equitable and excellent teacher preparation institutions. And this is across the country. Good job to our College of Ed program and the work that you've done to close the door on people of color and making sure that the disparities are addressed on the first attempt. Our pass rates are amazing. College of Nursing has been named a Best Nursing College in the Tampa Bay Times for Best of the Best People's Choice Awards. St. Pete was lauded by the Times readers in the schools category for its nursing college and being a staple in the community for more than 60 years. The Times will make an official announcement on August 28th. Also, the Accreditation Commission for Education in Nursing, our accrediting group, approved our substantive changes to implement a concept-based nursing curriculum. We just started an evening and weekend nursing program at SPC. Hats off to Dr. Lewis and team. All right. Titan alum and first generation Asian American 21-year-old Vashetta Keith is now the first student at the University of South Florida to graduate from the Pinellas Access to Higher Ed program, and that's the PATH program. And that's a program where we take USF students who were not accepted initially to USF here at SPC. They earn their AA degree, they go back to USF, and they graduate. So that student is our first completer. She received her bachelor's degree in global business on August 6th. George Dollar, one of our professors and longtime information technology adjunct professor, was recently recognized for his work in teaching technology for people with disabilities. He has taught 24 years and was given the Outstanding Community Service Award by the Hillsborough Joint Alliance for Citizens for Disabilities for his work at the McDonald Training Center in Tampa. Good job, Professor Dollar. And what's coming up that I'm excited about this year on September 12th, Jesse, SBC turns 95 years old. Okay. I thought I'd get an applause off of that we've been here 95 years. Anyway, we're going to celebrate the college's 95th anniversary on September 12th. It's SPC Day, and commemorate the first day of classes held at SPC in 1927. The SPC Day celebration will include numerous events for students, alumni, and the entire community, and will conclude with a 24-hour day of giving on September 12th to help SPC raise essential private funds for student success. And then we had a wonderful Welcome Titans event. Trustee Gibbons and Stone Cipher. Chair Kidwell, thank you for being there. I know that Trustee Cole and Butts were there in spirit. You guys did let us know you had a conflict. Thank you for thinking of us. I thought the day went very well. Good job to Mick for chairing and for all of those who presented, and to our wonderful faculty and staff for being there, being interactive and engaging. We had a wonderful day and had a very strong first day. I felt good. I was at the Gibbs campus yesterday, also downtown, to see the students. Did you guys see students on campus yesterday? That was amazing. We're back, and I'm very proud of that, and our activities will get moving. So, Mr. Chair, those are my spotlights.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. We are now moving on to our annual organizational meeting. And I have to say this accurately, so I will be reading. Section 1001.61 of the Florida statutes requires that each year at its first regular meeting after July 1st, the College Board of Trustees shall organize by electing a chair whose duty it shall be to preside at all meetings, to call special meetings of the board, and to attest to actions of the board. And the board shall also elect a vice chair to act as chair during the absence or disability of the chair. Pursuant to this requirement, I now open the floor for nominations for the chair of the Board of Trustees for the 22-23 fiscal year.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would move that Tommy Kidwell remain as chair of the Board of Trustees of St. Pete College.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second to the nomination?
I'll second that.
Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I declare the nomination closed. I call for a vote on the nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. As a result of the vote, I am declared the board chair for the 22-23 fiscal year. I will not hand the gavel over. I now open the floor for nomination. By the way, Trustee Butts is on the line. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I now open the floor for nominations for the vice chair of the Board of Trustees for the 22-23 fiscal year.
Mr. Chair, I make a nomination that we also leave Trustee Butts as the vice chair of the board.
Second.
If there are no further nominations, I declare the nominations closed. Are there further nominations? I call for a vote on the nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As a result of the vote, Trustee Jason Butts is declared the new vice chair for the 22-23 fiscal year. This is a mouthful. Rule 6HX23-1.04 of the Board of Trustees Rules and Procedures requires the Board of Trustees to establish a schedule at its annual organizational meeting for its regular meetings for the college's fiscal year, including day, time, and location. Unless otherwise scheduled, regular meetings of the board to take action on general business of the college shall occur on the third Tuesday of each month, starting 9:00 a.m. at St. Pete's College's Epicenter, which is here, in room 1-453, or wherever the schedule takes us. Meetings of the trustees as the governing board of directors of the St. Pete Collegiate High School Charter School shall be scheduled in accordance with the requirements of the Florida Statute Section 1002.33. Properly noticed special meetings and workshops may be scheduled annually at this organizational meeting or scheduled throughout the year. Do we take that vote now, or do we? Yes, sir.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Further, I hereby appoint the following trustees to serve on the board of directors of each of the direct support organizations. For St. Pete College Foundation, Trustee Stonecipher, would you be willing to do that?
Sure thing.
Institute of Strategic Policy Solution, Trustee Gibbons, are you good?
Good.
To serve. Thank you, sir. In addition, we'd like to continue to have a board representative for the Palladium and the Leeper Ratner Museum of Art. Trustee Cole, are you willing to do that for the Palladium?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Butts, are you good for Leeper Ratner?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Do we need to take a vote on it?
Yeah.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you to everybody. We are done with that portion, and we will move on to the regular board meeting. I will start out, I guess, with my comment. My comment is on the Welcome Titans event that we held on Friday. I kind of snuck in front of 800 people, a little late, but that's student drop off, my kids drop off. So that was awesome. It was really great. I don't believe I had attended that before for whatever reason. I know we had COVID and it wasn't as in person for a while, but that was really impressive. The awards and the longevity and the tenure and basically recognizing all of our faculty members it was just really impressive. I enjoyed it and look forward to getting back on a regular schedule with that. So that's my comment. Do we have any comments from the board members?
Mr. Chair, I want to clean up one thing from our last meeting. When we talked about Dr. Williams' contract, we failed to extend it another year, as we have done in the past. So it's a total of 3 years moving forward. So I would move, unless there's discussion on the point, to extend Dr. Williams' contract an additional year at this time.
Any discussion?
I'll second that motion.
All right. Trustee Gibbons. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
And I'll just kind of second what Dr. Williams and you just mentioned about the Welcome Titans. It was really exciting to see that back in person again with so many people around. Didn't we do it at the Palladium last year, a smaller group, or did we not do it at all?
We did.
Yeah.
Smaller.
It was nice having it at the Coliseum again, and I want to thank all the faculty and staff that helped to put that together and make it such a great event. And what was most impressive to me was the energy that everybody brought to that room for everyone getting ready to kick off a new semester and a new year, which is daunting and a lot of work. It was nice to see the excitement of everyone there and seemed to be really looking forward to what we have ahead of us. So I just want to thank everyone who participated, and the amount of people that showed up as well was great. I mean, the parking lot was filled, and most of the seats were filled, so that's always a good thing.
You forgot to tell them about you trying to win the Cahoots game.
I didn't want to brag about anything. I did finish top 5 in our Cahoots quiz. That was my name up there. I just thought it would be a bad look if, a board of trustee wasn't high on the list, since we're supposed to know what's going on here.
You had to have been sitting at the table to hear him say, "Oh, I knew I had it right."
And I think if we would have had that last question not drop off, I could have bumped up to 3rd. So I'm just putting that out there. Thank you all.
Any other comments? You're up, Dr. Williams.
I'm just very proud of the work of our team to get the students started strong. Very happy that we have a upward moving trajectory on our new student numbers. Hoping that we will, I don't know what it was today, but we're about 95% to our goal. Sabrina? Yes. Okay. So usually, yes? No? 96. Okay. Right. So we're closing the gap on our budgeted plans for enrollment. I am really looking forward to us doing some good work on helping our students succeed and retaining our students and getting them across the finish line. And that was basically my story to the employees on Friday, is we're bringing them in. That's not the problem. Recruitment and marketing's killing it. They're getting it done. We've just got to make sure those numbers at the end of the semester are just as strong for all students. I'm very concerned about our African American students and their success rates, and we'll be focusing very strongly on that, because if we do not help our African American students succeed, that student success number will not budge. It will not change. And so I'm excited about us moving forward. We had a very good meeting with the American Association of Community Colleges and the work they're doing with Tesla, hoping we're going to piggyback off of them and get ready for Tesla's move into St. Petersburg, as well as Coke. We're working diligently with them as well in partnership with the county. Had a meeting about that the other day. So we're moving forward. I'm looking forward to us really getting our students just as strong as our enrollment's looking for right now, and hopefully we can hold on to that. But good job to all of you who have helped students get into the classes. And our on-campus enrollment is looking pretty good. People are coming back. They're ready to reconnect. And so we'll keep moving in that direction.
I'm not saying a word.
You already said it.
No, I'm not going to say anything. I was just going to say, well, the next step is now maybe the faculty will get focused on keeping them here as opposed to other things.
Thank you, Trustee Gibbons.
I'll leave that at that.
But that's my report.
Very good. Meeting is now open for public comments. I don't have any blue cards. Okay, we don't have any blue cards. Do we have any members of the public that would like to comment? The public comment period is closed. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for our June board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we have Ms. Kanza. Do you have a report this month?
Nope.
All right, we move into the strategic focus portion of the meeting. Our first presentation is from Mr. Frank Jerkovic, Director of International Programs. And hopefully I said that right.
You did. Thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the things that you guys asked us to do a better job in is bringing more of the student facing initiatives and what are we doing. And so you will start seeing more presentations on things that directly impact students or a student initiative in addition to a strategic presentation. So I asked Frank to come and share with us where we are with our international programs.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Good morning, Chair Kidwell, trustee members, and Dr. Williams and the rest of the college family here today. My name is Frank Erkovich. I'm the Director of International Programs for St. Pete College, and I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of different areas that oversee within our department. So we'll get started here. So what is international programs? Basically, we are here to internationalize the college, increase the employee and students' cultural experience by basically creating some type of cultural intelligence for them to kind of share. We know that not everyone can travel abroad and do things, so we have international students here that bring that in, as well as international campus activities. And then we also have the study abroad for students that are able to travel abroad and want that additional experience. So who is an international student? This is one of our international students right here in the picture. San, you probably have heard from him in the past. He actually did his public policy project on helping a 401. He did a 503 startup business for in his city. So where he's from, he has a need for students wanting food and schooling. So a lot of students don't go to school. So he brought this project back to his home country and started that up and has a lot of donations coming in and things. But our international student, SBC, is a student here on an F1 visa. They are full-time, face-to-face. Now we know COVID has changed that the last few years. So we've actually had the government allow us and other universities and colleges to omit that requirement. But in 2023, for the degree-seeking students, that will be returning. So we'll be having them take majority of their classes on campus again. Now the English students have to be face-to-face starting this past May. So there is no exceptions for that. So all of our English language students for international are face-to-face now as of this summer. As you might be well aware of, they pay out-of-state tuition, obviously, because they're not Florida students. So here is kind of a little bit of snapshot of our student enrollment for the last few years. You can see it's been increasing. We have hopeful that we keep increasing these numbers. There are still challenges around the world. Not all embassies are open. There's visa backups. Some embassies are taking months to get a visa appointment for then students to find out if they can study in the U.S. But we're happy to say that a lot of the world is actually returning back to a more normalcy area. So we're excited about that. Just a reminder, not all students are granted a visa, so when they go to the embassy, there are a multitude of reasons why they'll be denied, but I would say roughly a little bit over a third of community college students are usually denied a visa as well for various reasons. As far as countries represented, about 58 countries from all over the world is out of our 160 students that are attending here. Scholarships, we're able to provide them many scholarships, which is exciting, and these are just kind of some of the top scholarships we have. We have an intensive English program scholarship, Latin American Caribbean scholarship that we provide to a lot of our students, athletics, there's several international students that participate in athletics, and as well as the foundation office, we know they provide a lot of good scholarships as well for students. A lot of this growth we've had has really helped through the partnerships we've created over the last few years with different organizations such as Education USA. We kind of nurtured these relationships over the last few years, have provided different workshops and interest meetings and things for students that are around the world that are not physically here. So we've kind of built on those relationships and we want to keep growing them. We do a lot of like showcases with certain degrees and things like that. We also work directly with all prospective international students directly through our office, so they can schedule meetings. If they come into the website and they request more info and they designate themselves as an international student, that comes to us in our department, so we're able to work with them. There's lots of different things we have with them, like as far as degree options and things, so we want to make sure we're getting them the right information that's available to them. So next, the next way, this is kind of the second way we engage or internationalize a college, is through study abroad. Here is some photos of the study abroad programs we had this past year. We're excited. Back in January, I think we all were fearful what this next year would hold. Fortunately, we had hope, and we were able to travel to various countries. As you can see here, a lot of our students participated, so I'll kind of go into that a little bit. We had 70 students in 5 programs this year. That's exciting because we didn't think much was going to happen with the COVID and everything. The 4 faculty-led programs were to Zimbabwe, Western Europe, the Alps, and Spain. And we do one unique opportunity that we've kind of established over the last few years. It's called our Costa Rica Spanish Immersion Program. And what that is students can go at any time at the beginning of any month and get their Spanish language credits done. So how it works is they travel there, they get their course done or courses if they want 2 or 3. Then they come back and we issue the record or the transcripts from St. Petersburg College. The great thing is that students from any school, so if they're coming from Boston, California, wherever, they can attend this program, and SBC issues the credits, and we receive the revenue from that. So no need for instructors to be down there. This is growing. This past summer, I think we had about a dozen students that finished that program. And, coming out of COVID, we only had a couple last year, and so USF sends a lot of students there. We also had a lot of students from New York that attend this program, but it's great for them to be able to transfer their credits back to their home institution from SBC. We also awarded 50 scholarships. That was great. The college was able to support us with that. Pasco Hernando State College, we just signed an agreement with them the past year. We are providing their study abroad programs for them. They do not have a study abroad area, so we're able to provide them with opportunities to study abroad with our programs through SBC. We have 11 programs planned for the upcoming year, academic year, and we are in the process of promoting these through the various organizations at the school, various departments and classes. So we reach out to different programs like Brother to Brother, Women on the Way, the different clubs on campus, and also a lot of classroom visits, whether virtually or in person. So we're excited about that and start offering those for the upcoming year. I wanted to figure out what would be the best way to tell you a little bit more about how the programs were. So we are actually going to show a quick video of one of our students that participated in our Zimbabwe veterinary technology program this summer. They had 20 students go to Zimbabwe. So we're going to play a short little video for you, and you can see about her experience.
Hi, my name is Megan Dabney. I was part of the 2022 Zimbabwe Study Abroad program with St. Petersburg College. It was such an amazing experience for me as a first-time traveler internationally to not only get to go with this amazing group of people to such an amazing place, but to learn more about the field that I've worked in here in the States for several years, and to see how people in other countries work in the same field but practice almost entirely different medicine based off of what they have available to them. The cultural experiences helped to broaden my horizons about a country that I knew very little about going into this trip. So I'm truly thankful for the experience that I got to have attending with the faculty at St. Petersburg College.
And Professor Gordon, she actually is sitting back here in the back room. She was on that program as well, so she was participated in that. That was a wonderful program. They got to interact with students from the University of Zimbabwe, and they got to exchange information. But when they walked into their clinics, we're very privileged in the United States to have these fancy labs and everything like that. Over there, they have to work with a little bit less, and so it was interesting to see the students' reactions and get to see that firsthand. So the last kind of area we have is international activities. We want to bring activities to students that may not be able to study abroad or maybe experience in another country. The past couple of years, we've kind of converted to virtual abroad courses, which has been great because we've been able to incorporate virtual reality technology, and they get to have actual walking tours. We've also taken that to the campuses. During COVID, we did that with professors of SBC that actually did a walking tour on Zoom. So we kind of walked through Rome. As we stopped, they would explain certain areas around the city, and it was just a really great thing. And then now we're able to bring it on campus, which is great because if you've never done the VR stuff, it's pretty neat to see how you can move around and look up and down and see everything around you. We partner a lot of institutions, so we have a strong relationship with Northern Ireland, which we've done this for a couple years now. We provide global perspectives on health and social care, which is great, but we also have other relationships with other universities. In China, we did something with Director Jackson's Department of Strategic Policy. We did a cultural exchange with Chinese students and U.S. students. We had to do it in the evening since they're 11, 12 hours ahead, so we did it around 8 o'clock at night our time. It was really great. China has a lot of locks on their technology and stuff, so we had to make sure we worked out all the details because they censor the internet pretty quickly there, and they'll shut down the link in like seconds. So we had to work through that, but it worked out great. So we keep building on those relationships and creating those opportunities for students in the U.S. or that are on campus here. Each year, we also work with International Education Week, which is a State Department thing in November, and work with Student Life in various departments to provide different workshops. So the future focus, obviously, you always want to think about ahead. We are looking at integrating more of the virtual reality equipment. We have that. Integrating some more cultural experiences. This picture right here is from a class that we had, was doing a virtual reality experience, not virtual reality, but they were doing a virtual abroad course. And they actually had musicians from Ireland live playing music for them, and they got to ask them questions, almost like if they were in a pub sitting there listening to them live. We did that as well. So that was really neat because they had some instruments they had never seen before, and they asked them questions. So that was really neat. So we're going to keep connecting with more institutions. organizations, providing some more study abroad opportunities, making sure we're connecting on different disciplines in different areas. Also, I mentioned to you the Costa Rica Spanish American program. We want to build on that because that's an opportunity to bring in a little bit extra revenue for the college, but also for students to participate at their own time whenever they want to go and build on Spanish courses. Also, another future focus, we want to keep building our international student population. That is growing slowly. We've been doing some different things. I mentioned showcases. So this was like a 3D printing showcase we did with Chad Marin at the Seminole campus. We did it with Saudi Arabia. Don't ask me to translate that, but we keep working with deans for face-to-face degree options. As I mentioned, the international students have to be in face-to-face courses, so we want to have more face-to-face courses and degree options available to them. And then just strengthening our current relationships. So we have a lot of good relationships going on with different organizations globally, high schools and different schools around the world. So we keep operating them different workshops to kind of make sure we stay connected with them and they keep SBC in mind when it's time for them to graduate. COVID has really helped us out as community colleges and smaller colleges. Everything's shut down, so a lot of universities send recruiters all around the world to recruit all year long. We know we can't do that, but they have pivoted to virtual fairs. So that's been great for us to participate in that. And the 2+2 programs have really built momentum these last few years because they've shared more and more about them now that the virtual option is there for fairs and things. So we're going to keep doing that, and hopefully that will keep paying off for us to bring students in. And then this wouldn't be available or possible without the help of the whole college family. I mean, everything from the advisors to faculty to administrators. It really takes a lot to put these programs on and to provide them for students. So we're just very thankful we're able to bring that opportunity to students through different options.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is a lot more robust than I knew.
Mr. Chair, I got a few questions. Thank you for the presentation. It was very good. I'm a big proponent. I've actually gone on 3 or 4 of these international studies programs back from Dr. Cutler, Dr. Law, when they were both here. How many, I guess my question is, during COVID, I would have, and this is not a criticism, it's a question. I think that we had an opportunity to go out and strengthen our academic programs in terms of international studies. When we attend these, when our students attend these international programs, I'd like to make sure that we're strengthening Dr. Williams' our academic programs. For example, before the pandemic happened, I think I told Dr. Law when we were in South Africa that there was a college from Minnesota that was at Nelson Mandela. I can't use this microphone because it's reverberating back. There was a pandemic nursing program at Nelson Mandela. When I said it for years, and then we didn't move on it, and that was nobody's fault. But now that particular college in Minnesota has, and I've checked back with the folks in South Africa. Those folks are immediately being hired across the world because they have they've studied pandemic nursing and how to deal with issues related to pandemic. We didn't see that coming. I'm not gonna say that I don't know. Something was saying to me, that seems like a great program, because if that happens, you would have your students immediately ready to go out. But they differentiated themselves from every other college in the country by doing a pandemic nursing program and sending their nursing students to South Africa. How are we doing that now? Are we differentiating ourselves and strengthening our academic programs? For example, when we were in Cuba, I ended up having to come back because that was the time that we were selecting Dr. Williams. But we were studying Afro-Cuban music with our music students with that program. We strengthened our ties with Russia when I went with Dr. Cutler, and we did the museum downtown and brought back treasures of the czars and some stuff like that. So I'm asking that question is, during this time, the pandemic, have we gotten any new agreements, and are we working with deans to create academic programs that can go on these young people's resume? The difference is, I keep saying this, we have to be known for something, right? I can specifically talk about that university in Minnesota. They are known for pandemic nursing, and they are useful now, right? People are seeking them out. Are we doing that with our international programs?
So-
or have we done any new contracts or assignments?
So we have some agreements. So we've, for example, in Northern Ireland, we have we do something with the Human Services Office. So the department through Dr. Smiley's area, we basically have the biggest thing is COVID, right? So Human Services, they've talked about everything. They had a multi-day webinar or panel discussion, and they actually talked about, we had panelists from all different parts of the world, including Northern Ireland and the U.S. We had CEOs, everyone from CEOs to frontline nurses. There was different topics we had each day. So they talked about, COVID trauma, things that are going on with students in elementary school, everything to adults. How is the coding now with COVID? How are they assessing the mental health, and how's that coming into the hospitals? So we had various panels, discussions with U.S. and worldwide and global with the human services topic. So it was like a whole week-wide thing. We kind of wanted to let people know and share thoughts back and forth on what that was. And then we actually had the students, they presented their topics to the Northern Ireland students, and the Northern Ireland students presented their projects to the students live. So we had a back and forth interaction so that they could share what their thoughts were on moving forward. I can't recall the exact topics, but basically it was all the stuff that was going on COVID. And we had one hour session where it was like CEOs and high level people. The next session we had the frontline counselors that were dealing with students with COVID issues, and not so much of the health issues, more of the mental health issues. And we had that week-long webinar that we were able to have SBC students participate and the Northern Ireland students participate.
So there's a certificate that goes along with that at the end of it?
There was not a certificate, it was more of a...
That's what
okay.
I'm
You want
trying
like
to
an
make.
actual certification?
We need to start making sure that when our folks start putting our students start putting their resumes together, these are things that can go on their resume. It differentiates us from Haskell, Hernando, and HCC, and all these other places. So that's what I'd like to see more of. I think international studies is a great way to differentiate us. I mean, we're doing a good job. I'd just like to see us make sure that we take full advantage of these opportunities that, Florida State a kid just sent me a resume. He just got back from studying comparative economics at Oxford. He got a certificate that he put that on his resume that he did that, not just, I went and studied this. The study abroad is great, but I also want to make sure that we take full advantage of the economic and educational opportunities that we afford these young people, and that they come back with something that's tangible that can help them move through their career. So
Definitely.
Mr. Chair.
thank you.
Yes.
I just had one follow-up question, and it is specific to the Costa Rica program is what raised it, but to any of these programs. Are high school students who are dual enrollment or early college, are the international classes or opportunities for international travel, are they afforded to our dual enrollment students
Yes.
or only early college?
Yes,
Okay.
all the above.
Thank you. I don't ask specifically because to your point about recruitment that we're doing a really good job. I remember, 30 years ago when I was in high school, everybody knew what St. Pete College was doing, right? And everybody in high school knew. And somehow, whether it was the evolution to a 4-year degree away from just the AA or how, I don't want to say we lost our way because we're doing everything that we can, but from a community knowledge standpoint for every family in our community to know what we're doing, I think we don't have the same level of presence that perhaps we did when our parents went to St. Pete Junior College and when we were kids growing up here. So I think international travel is a wonderful way to kind of get another group of high school students that maybe we wouldn't already touch and get them involved in the college and knowing what classes they can, what certificates they can achieve, and all of that. So it's wonderful.
Definitely. We have each year, we always have a good number of high schoolers from SBC participate.
Yeah.
I think what our trustees are saying is let's take this opportunity to further strengthen, our impact and effectiveness. What can we do to help someone utilize those experiences for a job, but also how can we use the international travel as a carrot to even come to SPC and a reason. And I know when I think about our marketing strategies, we may not include international and letting students know that, we can expand farther than, Florida, farther than, our nation. Let's go, outside. So that's a good feedback from both of you. And Frank, go forward and be prosperous.
All right, thank you.
And it's great. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like our UN program that we do, that we've heard so much about, we are so successful in that. And I mean, it's such a wonderful tie with our international program. So you're doing a super job.
Students get to go study the country that they,
that they actually spoke about.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you.
It's exciting to see their faces when they come back, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, workforce at St. Pete College, Dr. Jackie Scrid.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chair Kidwell, trustees, Dr. Williams. I am excited to be here as a new member of the workforce team at St. Petersburg College as the Vice President of Workforce Development and Corporate Partnerships. Our workforce dean, Valentia Berry, is unable to join us today, and she sends her regrets. But I am here today to share with you the outcomes over the last year for the division, as well as to share with you more about where we're headed. And I've got a lot to share, so I'm a little bit scripted, and I'll keep on point. It is the vision of SPC Workforce to empower the community to achieve economic mobility and regional prosperity. And it is our mission to produce a highly skilled local workforce by advancing education, career and academic pathways, employment, entrepreneurship, and workforce development opportunities in support of regional prosperity. And it is our goal to be the #1 institution for workforce education in the state of Florida, supporting the state's goal to be the #1 state for workforce in the nation. When it comes to who's here, we are experiencing an increased trend in enrollment for students taking shorter-term education. This correlates to the increased enrollments in certificate programs on the credit side that we're also experiencing. We are up 14% compared to last year. Much of this is due to new in-demand programs that we are adding, like Google Data Analytics and Digital Marketing, Amazon Web Services certifications, the 440 Customer Representative Insurance License, and Certified Medical Assistant. We continue to add programs and are currently working alongside our industry partners to develop short-term offerings for commercial real estate, as well as banking fundamentals. We also strengthened our community partnerships and targeted outreach to get individuals into the pipeline. You'll hear more about those partnerships in a little bit. These strategies resulted in better diversity within our programs. Nearly 19% of our students are Black African American, and another 19% are Hispanic Latino. Another key strategy we instituted this year was an emphasis on growing apprenticeships, sponsored by St. Petersburg College. And when we sponsor it, that means that we receive the FTE funds back to the college for every enrollment. In the past, we experienced only a handful of apprentices, but this year we shot up to 144, primarily resulting from the growth of our Certified Medical Assistant apprenticeship program with Avara Health, and also a new apprenticeship program we designed with Powertown as an extension of our line worker program that focused on transmissions. And we have a new apprenticeship starting this fall in solar technician, so we are growing there. While we remain strong in the number of our internships, enrollments were down slightly for 2021 compared to 2021. We did start to see a small recovery this past summer, and we believe we're on an upward trend. Monitoring our enrollment and student achievement was something we worked on closely with our technology team to develop data dashboards. A major task we completed this year was the systems integration of 2 separate student databases we used for workforce and degree-seeking students. This allowed us to provide a one-college approach for viewing and analyzing the information. We now have the data that provides student demographics, age, gender, race, enrollment, completion, and course by completion, which we didn't have before for workforce students. This is real-time data on our students by program, which makes for easier transition and outreach to students to help feed them into our academic credit programs. And this is a snapshot of one of those dashboards. We continue to be laser focused on our financial status. We've been working hard to close the gap on our revenues and expenses to get to the black. As you can see here, we're closing that gap, but we have some work to do. In 2021-2022, we experienced revenues of $1.74 million and expenses of $1.86 million. This is a difference of $128,000. However, we have $125,000 of carryover invoices, which would put us just shy of the break-even point by $3,000. Other highlights I would like to mention are the increased gross revenue of our collaborative labs. They have been rocking it. Yes, which has grown. They've grown by a whopping 56% over the last year, from $488,000 in fiscal year 21 to $759,000 in fiscal year 22. We've also significantly increased our workforce-based grant funding. We are managing over $16 million in grants, and this is up from $9 million in the previous year. And as I referenced earlier about apprenticeship enrollment affecting FTE, you'll see that this equated to over $500,000 to our general operating fund. One of the main areas of great progress in the division that I'd like to highlight now is the growth of new partnerships. To accomplish this, we needed to first look at our infrastructure. This past year, we devised a new service structure that allowed us to create positions for individuals who are dedicated to serving businesses as a single point of contact, known as business relationship specialists. Over time, many businesses have requested a point person to make it easier for them to connect. This role addresses that request. The positions went into play this past March, and since that time, we've established 148 new corporate connections and are working to strengthen the ties to others. The work of our business relationship specialists is already helping us to identify jobs, internships, training gaps, leveraged resources, and even corporate contracts for training existing employees. In fact, we have seen a 20% increase in corporate interest in our customized training programs as a result of our new restructure. The award of the Bank of America grant was a second piece that is helping us to grow these partnerships. This grant funded 2 of our business relationship specialists and a project manager who is responsible for taking a deeper dive with companies to better understand their hiring practices and needs. We are working closely with companies like Bank of America, Raymond James, TD Synnex, which was formerly Tech Data, USAA, Jabil, KnowBe4, and others on this effort. And these are some of the biggest companies in our region coming together to solve the hiring crisis they continue to face across their industries. That's some work we're pretty proud of to collaborate with all of those companies in one space. And this also was championed by their presidents. A third area supporting partnership growth is the use of the collective impact model for creating and delivering new programs and getting residents into the educational pipeline. Collective impact allows us to network with industry, nonprofits, government, and other agencies to align our efforts toward a common goal, in this case, talent development. We have seen this model work with our line worker program, where we are working with community partners to outreach to students within our community and our employers to develop the curriculum, as well as for the hiring of our students. Another example is St. Pete Works. Here we're working with the City of St. Petersburg, Urban League, Career Source, and PERC that serves our ex-offenders by targeting individuals from the community redevelopment area in South St. Petersburg to get residents into training and jobs that provide self-sufficiency. To date, we have served over 300 people, and a little over a week ago, the City of Tampa and their partners visited us to see how they could replicate that program. During the last workforce presentation to the board, Trustee Gibbons, you asked that we don't limit ourselves to local partnerships. That's why we are leveraging the collective impact model with companies like Walmart, Lowe's, Verizon, Coca-Cola, and Tesla to build our new programs and reach our residents better. This is a major priority for us going forward. So where are we headed? What are our next steps? We have some key priorities we'll be working on to build on the foundation we established. First and foremost, we're going to be working on the system we use for job placement and tracking. Job placement is a new area of service for the college, and we have some kinks to work out. We're looking at different tool options that allow us to case manage students who are ready and looking for work. We're also collaborating with CareerSource on a means to track job placements in real time. Second, aligned with the job tracking system, we'll be working internally between our teams in student affairs, academic affairs, and workforce to streamline our processes that better connect students to jobs in an effective and timely manner. Third, we will continue to seek out new programs that the college can offer to meet current employer needs as well as the jobs of the future. Our growing relationships will help us improve in this area as we'll use the collective impact model we use to develop those programs. We will also take better advantage of funding resources that pay for student training. Fourth, we will continue to expand articulations. We want to create pathways for students to get quick training now that leads to a certification, but they can use toward a degree. We'll be targeting outreach to our former workforce students to make them aware of these pathways, especially if their employers offer paid training benefits. Fifth, we will be looking at our financial model and internal practices that will strengthen our ability to invest in the delivery and growth of our programs. And last but certainly not least, we will continue to work on ways to improve our service delivery and relationships with industry. Beyond the companies themselves, we will work closely with industry associations, economic development, chambers, CareerSource, and others to align our efforts in connecting with businesses. We will do the same internally, collaborating closely with our chief campus officers, deans, the foundation, grants, and others to improve communication amongst our teams, and again, our service delivery to students and employers. In closing, I would like to give a shout out to Dean Barry for her leadership in keeping the team going this past year. She did an incredible job, and all of the members of the team, who many of which are behind me here today, they've been doing amazing work, and our future is bright. I can take any questions that you have, and since I've been here as in the VP role for a hot minute, maybe some of the other people I'll answer them too.
No, I just want to say thank you. That's a good job. Sounds like we are moving in the right direction. And I also want to just publicly say thank you to Miss Berry in her absence for all the good work she's been doing. I was here when the workforce was completely in the red, and now we are somewhere different, and it's a good feeling to see this working out, and a little bit of hard work, and it sounds like you have the right people in place, so we appreciate it. Thanks.
Anybody else?
I just want to say quickly, I mean, we talked for years. Goal number one was just being self-sufficient with this program, and we're almost there. We're at least headed in the right direction. But, you know, Mr. Gibbons has talked about it for as long as I've been here, about how we need to steer the bus a bit differently, looking to the future. And to echo your point, it looks like we're getting there. And this is really positive, what we've seen over the last 12 to 18 months, and I'm excited for what's next, so thank you all.
Mr. G. I want to echo my colleagues' comments, but also what I love to see is not just the closing the gap of getting us into the black, but the very intentional program growth where getting to the black is going to come because we're doing a good job.
Absolutely.
And that's what's most exciting is the partnerships that you've created, the success. I get calls on a regular basis for, hey, I heard about the collaborative labs, and can somebody, can you send me to the right person to talk to them? And it's just exciting to see all of these partnerships. I think the line worker program, we got a significant press, and I think that allowed the community to see what can happen if there are those conversations. And so kudos to you all, and congratulations on your new role, and we look forward to seeing more great things from the whole group.
Okay.
Congrats. Thank you.
Thank you.
Final presentation, Mr. Darrell Ray Green. We'll talk to us about the medical health care benefits contribution strategy for the upcoming.
Good morning, Chair Kidwell, trustees, Dr. Williams. Thank you guys for having me this morning to talk about this difficult subject here. It's never easy to talk about medical benefits, our contributions, things of that nature. Last year, I think I presented to you guys for the first time and had to walk in and talk about our ancillary benefits. And because I had just walked in the door, I kind of walked into this place and you guys started talking to me about, hey, what's going on with the medical contributions and how can we get to a better model? So basically, I started doing some research and looking into this, and as I looked into it, I thought about the charts that you gave me to build a more sustainable model and to create equity across our actual benefit platform for our employees. With those two things in mind, I went through a full assessment of what went on. I talked to some of my colleagues. We had discussions in regards to what had been done. What were we looking to do? What were we looking to accomplish? One of the things that they started in regards to this phased approach to get us to where we were going was to actually join the consortium in 2021. So we joined the consortium. We started the phase process of our actual salary band structure. We were at 9, we went to 3, with the intention of still creating equity as we were still getting to that point of a more equitable platform. We worked to create a more equitable and contribution model for our actual college and our employees. We also looked at how we can actually reduce the percentage of our family coverage. So through that, we were already in a phased approach of, hey, what's next? Where do we go from here? Based on that, this is what we came up with. This was the actual model. We had a 3-tier model over our actual platform or our portfolio of healthcare insurance. We had a less than 45,000 tier, we had a 45 to 75,000 tier, and then we had a 75 plus tier. To create that equity and that fairness, we decided, hey, what can we do? What do we need to do to continue to move into this phased approach? So I'm here today to kind of have a two-part act or decision point that we're looking to do. So for the 2023 medical benefit year, we're looking to move from those 3 plans that we went from the 9 to the 3 to 1 and do a 75-25 split. We will stay in a defined percentage model. And what does this mean? This means that the institution will cover 75% and our employees will do 25%. This is still a phased approach, so we're asking to go into the 24 year, going into what we describe as a defined contribution strategy. What this is we pay a set amount, which is 100% of our most reasonable employee-only plan for the 24 benefit year. What does this do for us? It gets us to that sustainable contribution model. It established the equity that we're looking for as an institution and improve the participants' understanding of what our medical benefit contributions are, as well as it's easier for us to forecast the annual employer costs every year. So what I wanted to do is show you those 2 things that we're asking for a decision on. For the 23 year, this is what we're proposing, to have that 75-25 split. This is what it will look like over our actual portfolio plans. What we decided to do this year was to add an additional plan, which is our bronze PPO, which is a more affordable plan, but still offer that quality of insurance to our employees at a more reasonable rate. For the 24 year, what we're asking is to go to that set amount. So when we're going to that set amount, we're looking at an employee-only plan at 100% of our bronze plan. If you guys look through this chart, you'll see the 8, 13, 87 is throughout the entire plan. What that means is that's the equity for our employees, that we give each employee the same thing throughout the plan, no matter if you have an employee plus plan or you have an employee only plan. What that does is that gets us to that equitable place that we're talking about, as well as it builds the actual sustainability within our contribution model. based on this, what would our next steps be? So we're looking, open enrollment season is around the corner. So we're about to start that. What my team has decided to do is that we're going to do campus tours because we need to help people to understand their benefits. We need to walk them through. We need to have conversations with them. We need to help them to understand this very difficult subject. We want to build a actual communication channel that we help people to understand for 2024 what's going on. What are their options? How do we get them to understand that plus plan, here's a different alternative for you? How do we help them to say, hey, take your actual summary of benefit plans to your actual primary care physician to look over it to see what plan will be best for you? How do we help them to understand, okay, well, your employer, your spouse, benefits may cover this in comparison to ours, to be able to do that comparison so they can make the best choice for their family. The final thing we want to do is we want to leverage our employees' word of mouth. And we want to do this by building what we consider benefit champions. And we want to do that through our Health Benefit Advisory Committee, bringing questions in to the actual committee so that we can kind of field those questions there. We want to create a FAQ that our actual employees will be able to go to kind of look at these things. And we want to just have a relationship with our benefits team where they can call and ask those questions to get the help that they need in regards to the actual benefits. Are there any questions about this? Try to be short and sweet to the point,
I do not. Yes.
Yeah, I want to reiterate, I think as we develop this plan and as we spoke last week about it as well, and I know we've all run through it together, the most important piece of this, as far as I'm concerned, is making sure everyone understands the bigger picture of what the next 2 years looks like. And that's part of the communication of rolling this out and having that conversation with everyone. But what we're really trying to build is consistency in the model for years to come, so that there aren't unexpected changes or swings, both from our end as those trying to plan the finances of the college each and every year, and with the employees as well, understanding what is coming, what it looks like in the future, and not expecting big changes. So thank you for putting the work in with this. There's a million different ways to get to this point, and there's a lot of different options to look at, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I know a lot of thoughtfulness has gone into this. This is not something that was come up with overnight.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I agree with Trustee Stone's side. We just need to build some consistency in the plan.
Right.
So that folks can prepare financially. It's already a tough financial time for a lot of folks. Moving forward is probably a little tougher. So I just want to make sure we build some consistency. We had many discussions on this. I feel confident that we're going to move in the right direction and figure it out. But this is one of those areas that we can't mess around with. Everybody needs health care, so especially our employees. So we want to get this right and make sure that moving forward, we don't have all of these changes. So I agree with I won't say Nathan, but they're on this. Just make sure we build some consistency in the plan so people can have a level of expectation of what they're going to be receiving over the long haul.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Along the communications line that Dr. Williams spoke about, because of the reduction of contribution or the balancing with respect to the spouse and family and children side, are we modifying our health savings accounts or offering some sort of encouragement, or will that be part of the education program, and how to kind of, and I might not be using the correct nomenclature, HSA versus whatever else is the employee contribution to
What we did was we looked at the bronze plan as an option because the health savings account is to help balance out a high deductible plan. So what we did was we added an additional plan to our portfolio that was a PPO offering that had a different deductible, but it was lower than the actual HDHP plan. So we didn't have to do the HSA, but we had the actual PPO plan, which provided them better service and better coverage. However, what I was looking to do is actually actually really have a conversation with the consortium about an FSA instead of an HSA. So getting a flexible spending account, which we can also still do pre-tax, and they can still put money towards that in regards to those actual deductibles.
I was talking about an FSA.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. I knew I was like, it's probably not the right nomenclature.
Yeah.
I think that's just a valuable resource to give to the employees, especially so long as their entire family could utilize the FSA dollars. Because, unfortunate to Mr. Gibbons' point, I think we will see some people choose not to insure their children or their spouse, right, because of the cost, and that is a known risk. But I think whatever we can do to mitigate the health of our employees and giving them those resources by, with an FSA or other types of resources, and that takes a lot of counseling and communication, because you don't ever want to agree to reduce your weekly paycheck.
Well, if it's pre-tax, it's a lot easier to take the money out. Yes,
we appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think the campus by campus tours are very helpful, because you put people in positions to ask questions they may not ask.
Thank you so much. I think for me as president, it's just so important that we look at equity of benefits and ensuring that all employees get the same, which is our current model doesn't do that. I think the other is that we give the employee a full year heads up to work through what is going to be the best strategy for them for 2024 is even more important to me, because it's very hard to make these types of decisions that if it's only 6 months, you have 6 months to make it. The plan where we go basically 100% employee, if I'm saying it right, Daryl, giving them a full year, and almost a year and a couple of months, a year and a half, to really work through that for their families, to me was the most important, and why we're bringing it now. Because if we were to bring it this time next year, they would only have like 2 months really to make any adjustments. This gives more time, and I want to thank all of those involved. I know that it's been a tough discussion and a tough review, but for me, it's learning that we want to make sure that there's equity in the work that we're doing, and strategies for both the employee and the college to build a sustainable model. Yes, sir.
Madam President, I agree with all of their comments. I just think that if I vote for this, I think I'm voting for the time to figure this out over that period, because it really is unfair to folks to have families, to faculty, staff, or whatever. Our employees who have families will be hit more by this than single or people who don't have families, right? And that's a big burden for them. Nobody wants to go without having insurance for the children, right? So I'm actually voting for more time for us to figure through this, so that we can come up with a plan that we can work with, that the families are less impacted, and make it a little bit more fair across the board.
Thank you, Trustee Gibbons. I appreciate that. What we're asking for today, the plan, we believe we have found a plan, and that we would like to give the families a year and a half to make the decision that's best for them, for us to provide equity in what we provide for health insurance benefits. So the ask is that the board does approve the plan for 2024 to give us the time for us to help those families work through that and see what all of their options are going to be. That is the ask. So we have 2 asks. The first one today is to approve the 75-25 split that will start in January of 2023. And the second is to approve, we provide our employees 100% coverage for their insurance. If they would like to include their families, then they will have a year to look at what plan. We're going to offer family plans, we won't supplement the family plan. So it will give them a year and a half to work through that to see what their options are and what's going to be best for their families.
But I guess I'm going back to Trustee Cole's comment, is that to me that wouldn't be an option to take my kid off of my plan. That's just so you're hoping for the best, right? I mean, let's move forward. I'm fine. I want
You want to take those separate then?
Yeah, take them separate. But I would tell you, I just think that we need to be very cognizant of people with families are going to be very, 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 very impacted by this. Very, very impacted. It's just they're going to eat the brunt of this.
Right.
So.
Having said that,
I think those, we need a motion for separately.
separate motions do we
Move
have?
to approve the 2023 medical contribution strategy for insurance purposes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Opposed.
Motion passes.
I would.
Second.
I'll move to approve the 2024 medical contribution strategy. The defined contribution is set forth in the presentation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to take up the consent agenda in one vote?
So moved.
Do a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. The board was provided informational reports on our direct support organizations. I don't think there's any discussion, but let me know if there is. Our next section here is proposed changes to the Board of Trustees Rules Manual. The public hearing is now open for the proposed changes to the Board of Trustees Rules Manual. A copy of the proposed changes are in your board packets. Do we have a motion to approve the rules changes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any, are all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The Board of Trustee Rules Manual rule changes pass. We now have Dr. Williams' President's Report.
Thank you. So on the legislative tip, we don't have a lot that's going on right now, other than preparing our LVRs going forward. For the college, we're looking at two areas, and we need to have to get with each board member separately about those. One is dealing with mental health. We have a lot of opportunities there. You just heard Frank talk about some work there, but also we've been approached by St. Pete PD and some other law enforcement groups that want to partner with us on mental health. And so we're looking at that. We're not seeking at this point operational dollars. We have been very fortunate over the last couple of years. So we'll be working with the board and Amal on our legislative requests. The Florida colleges are focusing on the state colleges being included in the state insurance plan. So we're pushing hard to get us included in the state insurance plan like the universities and other groups are. So maybe we won't have to do what we're talking about now. And then the second thing that we're focusing on is a concept to help the state colleges close the achievement gap, which is something that SPC is so desperately working on to do. So we have not confirmed our LBRs as of yet, but we have some ideas, and I'll be sharing those with each board member for feedback before Amal and I go forward. That's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Our next meeting is September 20th, 2022 at the St. Petersburg Gibbs campus. This meeting is adjourned. Yep. We are now opening the meeting back up as a governing board of St. Petersburg Collegiate High Schools, and we have Ms. Catherine Kennedy with a presentation.
Good morning, Chair Kidwell, Madam President, board members. Again, my name is Catherine Kennedy, and I'm here before you today in a new role, replacing our retired colleague, Starla Metz. Those are big, big shoes to fill, but I am very honored to be able to have been given the opportunity. As I said, I'm here today for your approval on two things: our reading plan for the collegiate high schools and the safety school plans for the collegiate high schools. The reading plan is part of Senate Bill 2524. You have approved a reading plan in the past. Evidently something happened in the legislature where it went by the wayside and somehow was dropped off. It's been brought back up. What this does, if you approve our reading plan, that allows us to get the allocation funds to implement that reading plan. Secondly, the safety plans, that corresponds with House Bill 1421. We have always had safety plans at our collegiate high schools. The new portion is the reunification plan of a safety plan. In our world today, that's a real fact, and we need to make sure we're prepared for those. We recognize we can plan and prepare all we want, and it will never be the scenario that we have planned for, but we do our darndest to make sure that we keep our families, our staff, our students safe, and that they know how to come back together again. So those two approvals, please.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.